Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, welcome to my presentation. Let's to introduce myself. My name is Muhammad Fatur Rahman. I am from English education student of University Maritim Raja Ali Haji. In this video, I would like to do oral presentation to fulfill the assignment for academic speaking class. Well, the topic of my presentation is students learning strategies for developing speaking ability. This study was done to study the learning strategies used by both low and high performance speaking students in developing their speaking skills, as well as the difference between the learning strategies used by both groups of learners. The reason for conducting this research was the fact that the competency of many students in speaking English was still considered unsatisfactory in Banda Aceh. We postulated that one aspect involved in the process of developing speaking skills was the learning strategies used by the learners. In this study, the data was collected through field research by means of documents, questionnaires, and interview. The result of this study indicates that high performance speaking students had better balance in using all kinds of learning strategies like memory, cognitive, compensatory, metacognitive, affective, and social. For enhancing their speaking skills, the same could not be found with low performance speaking students. Well, without wasting the time, let's move to the first point. The first point is introduction. In this age of globalization, English has increasingly become the medium in every domain of communication, both in local and global context. As a result, there is a demand for speakers who can use English effectively in every country. English is called the international language and is also the second language of many countries in the world. In Indonesia, English is considered a foreign language, for it is a language studied in an environment where it is not the primary means for daily interaction and the use of the language is restricted. Among the 4 key language skills, speaking is deemed to be the most important skill that must be mastered while in learning a new language. Patel and Jane states that the primary function of language are communication, self-expression, and thinking. Hence, it is obvious the language is a means of communication. However, speaking a foreign language is not an easy skill to be mastered by learners. Learners consider speaking as the most difficult skill since it needs great courage as well as preparation to speak well in the new language. Regarding this, Brown says speaking has 5 components, namely grammar, vocabulary, comprehension, fluency, and pronunciation. Students have to be aware of these components. So the second point is review of literature. In review of literature, there is 3 points. The first point is speaking. Speaking is an ability to orally express opinions, thoughts, facts, and feelings to other people animals, and even to oneself. The second point is language learning strategies. Learning strategies are commonly defined as the operations or processes which are consciously or unconsciously selected and employed by the learner to learn the target language or facilitate a language test. O'Malley and Chemot state that learning strategies are special thought or behavior that individuals use to help them comprehend, learn, or retain new information. Oxford also points out learning strategies are specific actions taken by learners to help their own learning, to make the learning easier, faster, more enjoyable, more self-directed, more effective, and more transferable. The third point is clarification of language learning strategies. Language learning strategies have been clarified by many researchers. See, for example, by Rubin, Oxford, and O'Malley and Chemot. Rubin categorizes language learning strategies into three main groups: learning strategies, communication strategies, and social strategies. Learning strategies include all strategies that are directly related to learning, cognitive, or those which indirectly involve the learning process, metacognitive. So, the third point is methodology. The subject of this study were the second year students at SMA N3 Banda Aceh who had either low or high speaking performance result. The reason why we choose students for the second year was because they had been learning English for a longer period of time and had had several years of experience in learning speaking. The focus of the study was on 18 students, selected from all 4 classes for students from each class. There were 8 students for each criterion, low or high speaking performance. The selection was done according to the information from the teacher that the students selected have given either high or low speaking performance. It was based on the students' speaking achievement, not by the teacher during the teaching or learning processes. The students were considered high performers according to certain indicators. They easily mastered new contents being talked about, then they spoke smoothly. This means that they did not have many ums, ahs, or word repetition. The last point is discussion. For the result of the questionnaires, we note that the learning strategies most often used by the students with low speaking performance were usually compensation and social strategies. Meanwhile, memory, cognitive, metacognitive, and affective strategies were not so often used. On the other hand, students with high speaking performance had a better balance in the learning strategies they use. That is, the students employ memory, cognitive, and compensation strategy which match the same degree of frequency. Moreover, the other strategy of metacognitive effect, effective, and social were also used more equally. In other words, high-performance speaking students had more balance in the learning and practicing strategies that they use. This was not found in the strategies used by the low-speaking performance students. Okay, thank you very much for your kind attention. Sorry if I have mistake and bad pronunciation. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.